Hey now, and welcome to Citadel Credit Union's Open for Business podcast. Today is going to be a hoot. Today we are joined by Design Management Construction and Donald and Jason Keenan. Good afternoon, fellas. How are you?
Tom, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Good to see you again.
How are you?
All right.
Good.
We also have another special guest. It's the first time somebody else from Citadel has joined us. None other than the one, the only, our own business banking relationship manager, Hope Nicolosi.
Hello. I'm excited to be here.
Here we go. All right. All right. So today, I'm not just happy to be here with the big helmet, but I am happy to introduce you to our audience. And I've had the opportunity to get out to your business with both Hope and get the opportunity to meet both of you in your headquarters. And it was an incredible experience, mostly because of the unique way that design management construction goes to market for your customers. To have a father-son team that goes to market in a specific region that handles everything from architectural design to the final punch list, making a customer's dreams come completely true, is very different than your big box builders in the future. Tell us, how did you get started?
We actually got this started in about 2008. I had spent quite a few years, early career, moonlighting. You know, family, friends need an addition, need a renovation. I'd draw up some plans for them, and they always had a terrible experience on the construction end. So when around 2000, well, about the time of the Great Recession, they called it, we're kind of wondering what to do. So that's when we really started this thing. We really, our website is dmcexperience.com. The experience, we wanted to figure out a way to give a customer a great experience. And that was, from the beginning, that was always our goal.
But Don, this business isn't just you and Jason. This goes back to your lineage.
Yes, that's
true. So
true.
tell us about the roots of where this all began. Because your
1800s.
story goes back a heck of a lot further than the Great Recession of 2008.
That's true. The builder is in our genes. It's clearly in our genes. My great-great-grandfather, this is family legend, he came over from Ireland with a framing square in order to frame the roof for St. Peter's Basilica in Philadelphia for the diocese.
That's the picture you showed us, right?
Yes.
That's in your office.
Yes, yeah. And that's actually my uncle.
Okay.
And my grandfather, who built St. Anastasius Church in Newtown Square. So we're builders, you know. We love to build. It's in our nature. It's our hobby, you know. We like building together. We like creating things, you know. And it was just it was an adventure to try to figure out, you know, okay, how do you take this? You know, it's one thing to build, you know, an office building or a church or something, but how do you do this for people that live and work? You know, how do you do it for families? It's really what we work with a lot. And how do you do that in a way that makes sense for them, that adds value to the bottom line, and that you know, that can be successful? How do you pull that off? You know, and we tried a lot of different ways. You know, the conventional way is, you know, you just start hiring people, and we'd get them trained up. You know, a lot of people Jason trained up are in the union right now, you know, because they want to go on. So what we really came down to, what we really found out is the importance over time. We found out the importance of relationships, you know, that in order for us to really deliver what we wanted to do and deliver good quality, that we needed to hang around good people. You know, we needed to hang around. We needed to learn from the best. We needed to work with the best. And it was a surprising thing. You know, you hear the adage, a lot of times you hear the adage, time is money. And there's some truth to that. It's also hard to argue with that, you know. But at the same time, you can go so fast, you're going to miss it. You're going to miss the details. And so what we really did is we slowed things down a little bit, and we worked on setting good people up for success, you know. And what we found is that, you know, time might be money, but the cheapest way to do things, the absolute most effective and cheapest way to do things is right the first time. And that's like a leap of faith, you know, because, yeah, okay, we're not going to do this tomorrow because we're not sure about C and D, but we're gonna do this in, you know, 2 days from now because we'll have that resolved and we'll know we'll get it right, you know. And that's hard because it's a different way of thinking. But when you focus on the quality and really the decisions that add value to the customer, you know, it's very simple, you know. And, you know, like we have a lot of vendors. We put a lot of time into building those relationships. And what we find is that, you know, when our vendors and subcontractors, when they show up on a job, it's ready for them. There's no guessing. There's no previous contractor stuff to move out of the way. Our customers they know what's coming. They know what to expect. They've been through the whole process. The communication's been established, and they can get in, they can get done, and they can get out. That saves a lot of money.
Well, you're respecting their time as well, so that's
exactly
huge. You know,
everybody's got to win.
Yeah, everybody wins there. And one of the things when we first met that you had shared with me, going back to that relationship, right? You had said, Hope, you know, I'm not looking for a banker. I'm not looking for a bank or a credit union. I'm looking for a relationship that's going to build and grow, and we can support each other. And it seems like that's what you do consistently through with you know, your builders and your partners as well.
Hope, I remember telling you that. and all of a sudden, like 2 weeks later, you show up at the door and there's Tom. I didn't know who Tom was. I thought he was I didn't know who he was, you know. Yeah, and now here we are sitting here doing a podcast.
Wait, you have to share with Tom. So can we share?
Yeah.
So he said to me earlier, he goes, so did I tell you what my first thought was when you guys showed up? And I go, oh, no, but you got to tell us. Go ahead, share with Tom what that was.
I thought you were the new guy. I thought you were a new guy that had nothing to do with banking.
Yes.
You know, it's bringing in some exposure. Maybe they're kicking your tires for whatever hire. So I had no idea what to expect when you showed up. I didn't know you were coming. But it was a delightful meeting. You know, just to be able to talk business and your perspective. That's what like Jason and I were like, wow, that was a great meeting, because for the first time we got like, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Have you thought about this? Actually, no, we haven't, and that's good stuff. Thank you.
That's what we kind of do with our customers too. You know, it's, hey, you know.
Well, it's got to be. You got to, you know. Listen, what I heard from you earlier wasn't just partnerships and setting up your subcontractors and making it seamless for the customer, but it's about adding value to everyone around, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Even when you're thinking about a way to cost effectively manage a project, it doesn't mean it's the best way. My father was a master mechanic, and he would always say, you can either pay for it the first time or you can buy it 3 times.
Yep.
And
That's a great line.
Yeah, I mean, that was his famous line. There's a way to fix this, and then there's the right way to fix this.
Yeah.
And that's what he would tell customers, right? So in a lot of ways, banking is the same thing, because our job is to provide that relationship to you. And I know that you are lucky to have Hope, I think. But yeah, I know you're lucky to have Hope, and she's a vengeful force in making sure that she's a dedicated liaison to all that Citadel has to offer for all of our members. So I thank you both for your business, but also for the opportunity to meet one another. Tell me a little bit about being a father-son business.
What do they say? Steel sharpens steel.
Yeah.
The kids, I still kid. I could never run for president because I broke all the child labor laws there were. You know, and we literally every Saturday, Jason's two brothers and his sister. Every Saturday morning, we'd have a project. It was a construction. It was usually something, renovating the house or doing something, and that's how we all learned. Jason's two younger brothers are both in construction, doing very well. His sister might have been, but she got in more into the business side of things, but certainly capable on the construction side as well. But no, so we've been kind of in that environment of a construction environment and taking care of families, that environment. We've been doing that for our whole life, literally.
Hope, why don't you tell us a little bit about taking care of business? Tell us a little bit about how you met Design Management Construction and how your relationship grew here.
Yeah, so they were members of Citadel, newly, I think, members of Citadel, within a couple of years.
Yeah.
And we're really looking for an operating line, right?
Yep.
And so that's how they came to me. So in our conversation, we just really started talking about, we talked about the line, but we kind of just started talking about business and what that looks like and what it means to you and my experience coming from a small business owner as well, and really understanding what it means to own a small business and what it takes from you in that sense, right? Because it's your blood, sweat, and tears. It's your time away from your family. It's everything. It's your livelihood, right? And sitting on the other end of that and understanding that as the kid, where my dad would go to work at 5 a.m. in the morning, come home for an hour from 6 to 7 for dinner, and then go back to work. That was it. So I really have an appreciation for business owners, and I understand that piece. And so something that's always really important is to understand your business and what that looks like and how can we help you get the most out of your time, right?
Yeah, that came through right from the beginning, because we were like, we were at two other banks before we ended up at Citadel. One was, they were just trying to sell us products, man. It's like, well, we don't need that. This is the way, I told you this is the way we operate. Oh, no, most people they would just try to sell you things. And then another bank was kind of we tried to get more hands-on, and they almost were too disorganized, too technically challenged. So to find somebody that listened, was just really a refreshing, and then I think we had a credit line within like 2 weeks. I mean,
it was
had
quick.
that
And we didn't
around.
really spend much time talking about the credit line.
No, it was more about the business
all things
and
about
how we
business
wanted to
and
grow.
you guys
Yeah.
and family and vacations and your wife and your kids and the other business that you have. So it was really just becoming friends almost in that sense, and the business came, right? It's all right, so how can we support you? What can we do to help?
The chemistry was right there. It was perfect. And then it works like that with our customers too, because we're, there's one thing to say, hey, give me a list of what you want, do you want a room? What size room do you want that? 12 by 4, like that's not how it's done. Like I usually start out, the last thing I want to do is talk about what you want to add. Tell me why you think you want to add.
How do you want to live?
How do you want to feel in your home, right?
That's part of it too. Yeah. Well, I've actually, right? We've done this.
Yeah.
I've talked people out of additions.
Yep.
Because you look around and you say, use the space a little better. You might not need to add,
That is one thing that has really stood out to me about the both of you is that your commitment to your clients and the difference, right, that you provide in, because you find contractors, right, and we know what that means, right? But you have a dedication to your clients and delivering exceptional service and an experience, right, to make them comfortable in their home, and that is different. And there is a feeling of you truly care about what you're doing. You have pride in your work. And so that came through in our conversations. And so, I believe in that as well. Like, I want to make sure that I am the best partner to you.
Oh, yeah, it's
and
great.
And so that really stuck out to me.
Yeah.
And so, I have a lot of respect for that. And it's probably why you've been so successful with the clients that you do have.
We are doing 3 projects right now. And it's ironic to Jason and I, but they're 3 repeat customers. There are 3 repeat customers from 13 years ago.
Yeah, like, when does
And
that
we were
happen?
doing those 3 customers exactly like they're synced up. It's like it's the same 3 at the same time frame. We go back and look at the photos and all that. We're doing the same thing at the same time with these, 13 years later with the same customers. They call us,
Yeah.
We up until we just did our website, the beginning of the year.
Never advertised. Yeah.
We've never advertised. We haven't spent a nickel in marketing or advertising. It has all been word of mouth, and it's that what you just said very well. Like we do. We want, if we put the customer's need first, our feeling is everything else will follow.
That's absolutely the truth.
And
Jason, if I could, you've got a really unique role in this harness pieces. Donald gets to put it together, draw it.
Yeah.
I maybe even sell the dream, right?
Yeah, he's the
I don't know
sales.
how much selling you're doing, but it's architected.
Yeah.
You get to build it
Uh-huh.
and bring it to life.
Yeah.
And there are real challenges
Absolutely.
regarding building on a regular basis,
Absolutely.
construction.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your journey, where you came from, how you grew into this,
Yeah.
and what your day-to-day is like.
So I started, 5 years old, 6 years old, as soon as I could hold a hammer, really, you had us working. And then, I went to high school, just kind of continued doing side projects here and there for people. And started as an electrician, did that for a little while. I built some custom homes with a custom home builder. It was just a really cool experience. I got to learn, from the bottom up, the things that I haven't learned from Dad, and and then I did a custom cabinetry shop for a little while. Just kind of.
That was good for you.
Yeah, it was really good for me. Learned finish quality, learned from really good guys. He's always told me, if you're going to do something, try to be the best at it. Just kind of visualizing that. I'm starting to get more into the architecture and the CAD now. Realizing that it's best that I don't do it all.
Yeah.
I'm still a guy in the background making sure everything's flowing right. But kind of like the podcast, he does most of the talking. But I'm cool with that. He's the face, and I'm just I'm the muscle behind him.
Jace is he's more than the muscle behind it. It has to be right.
We saw that too when we visited your shop. You have the
it's gotta
most
be perfect.
organized
It's
shop ever, right?
That's one of our secret weapons.
So, business isn't all rainbows, Skittles, and unicorns.
No.
Right. And there's peaks and valleys. And some of the most challenging obstacles sometimes seem insurmountable at times. What have been some of the biggest challenges that design management construction has been faced with?
I think I'd have to say, I think the pandemic was a big challenge for us, because numbers were nuts, and it was just really nuts. It was, people were worried about the tariffs today. That's nothing. That's maybe 1% or 2% here or there. It trickles through. But the pandemic was like, it was the numbers were out of control. Prices were out of control, and
it probably made estimating the cost of the project
almost impossible.
Like, hey, this is a first draft.
Yeah,
but I don't know what it'll
1
be in
week
3
plywood's
weeks.
$12, and the next it's $45.
Yeah, how do you estimate? How do you do that?
How do you, when you're buying over 100 sheets, it's
right.
Yeah,
that's a big number.
Sure,
that changes a project.
I'll tell you what the magic was though for us is we just decided to open the books to our customers. And we just look. Here's what you can.
Here's where we're at.
You
Full
can see where we're at. You
transparency.
can see where we're at, and we have nothing to hide. We never did, so it worked out perfect for us. But that's a leap of faith too.
It is.
Because once they get a sense of confidence that, hey, you really know what you're doing. Right. We call it the why you're here list. Why you're here. Some of those projects have taken off and became bigger than the initial project because they realize we care. You know?
That is huge. The we care is so huge. You know, I
Yeah.
think I had shared with you that I had bought my house that had been foreclosed from the bank, right? And it was a leap of faith.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no running water, no electricity. There was no nothing. It was an empty shell that I couldn't even get a loan for. And my dad thought I was insane. So one of the things that was the most important is to find somebody to support me through that process that actually cared. Yep. Because I truly needed the help. And it's so hard to find contractors today, right? Mm-hmm. Contractors who care and don't want to just run to the next piece.
Or sell you something
you something. And you guys just, there's a vibe that you give off that's like, we're here to do the right thing. Yeah. Like we're salt of the earth kind of a people, and we're here to do the right thing.
Yeah, we get, I'm usually the deliverer of bad news, but a lot of times we'll say, I'll say, are you sure you really want to do that? This is why. We see a lot of things, man, like, because we're in so many homes and we meet so many people and we see a lot, man, what people do.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we've talked about a lot of stuff here today. One of the things we haven't talked about because we've been so focused on the customer, the member, the relationships, trusted advisors, but we haven't talked about what does potential growth look like for you?
For us, it's what we're looking at is even more partnering up with other people, and we're including architects in that. We want a few architectural firms that can do that we can partner with, and kind of from the beginning, from the early parts of their projects. I think we can add a lot of value there, and kind of grow our business that way. Jason mentioned about not doing all the work himself. Mm-hmm. And I think we just see expanding on that concept. And it goes back to the relationships again. We're pretty strong. We have the inspectors that we get from the townships, and every like people know that we can deliver special results. And I think our plan is to take that another couple steps further with the relationships, and possibly even getting into more social media. And people need to be educated. The thing that we see all the time is people have no idea how to take care of their house. Yep. And a house that was built that's made of 18-inch stone walls and that's been up for 100 years, that needs a special kind of care. Much different than a house that's 20 years old and has one little sheet of Tyvek that keeps the weather out. You have to manage it. You have to take care of your house. You have to know where to put the value without the fear. You have to learn about your house. So we're kind of looking at some of those areas because we think it can add a lot of value to people's lives.
All right, another curveball coming at you.
Yeah.
So my mother used to say this to me forever, and it was, if I knew then what I know now. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So, and this goes for both of you, mm-hmm. right? So while there could be two generations here, the new guard and the old guard, what is, if I knew then what I know now from Don and Jason? What advice and what things would you share with our audience and with our other entrepreneurs who watch these to get tips about managing their business, about the wisdom that you garnered through the process that you wish you knew in the beginning?
Here's the answer to that, because you guys already provided it. Like, we came to you like looking for a line of credit and get that started because we want to grow. There's some things we can do. You did that the first day you were in our office. Do you have this? You just went right through the list and say, time to grow up. Well, I forget the word you used, but it was like, it was, you need to do this.
I hope
stuff.
I didn't say that.
It wasn't great growing up, but I take it though. I like this. I like to be challenged.
Yeah.
And you guys are a lot like us in terms of you see a lot. We see behind the curtains of a lot of businesses and a lot of homes and families, just because we're around them all the time. And you guys see businesses all the time. So for you to challenge us with some questions that you did that day, that's so valuable, mm-hmm. Because that's your wisdom. It sparked some discussions. Hey, Jace, we got these 4 things that Tom brought up, we got to get on them. That he's right.
Yeah, because there's 2 components, right? There's being a builder,
Yeah,
and there's being a business owner.
Yeah.
And
they're 2 different components.
Correct.
Yeah,
Very different.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people don't realize this, but 7 out of 10 small businesses fail, and 7 of those 10 fail for cash flow.
Yeah,
for cash flow management.
Yep, I would believe that. Yeah,
And and how you manage your cash flow is the critical lifeblood and blood pressure of any living, breathing business. It makes me feel great that Hope and I were able to provide strong advice and guidance. But I'll also take an opportunity to draw Hope in here and say none of it would have been possible without your ability to foster relationships, right? So you can't just walk in the door of a business and tell them what you think they should and shouldn't be doing. It happens after you've fostered a relationship and provide value. And while I'd love to say that design management construction is the only business that you've ever done this with, it's just not the truth. You have an innate nature to do that with most of our business members, if not all. So how do you get that done, Hope?
What you see is what you get. I think just being very honest and straightforward and truthful and being real, right? We're all humans, and I connect on that level. Yep. Sales is sales, whatever. The business will come. It's about doing what's right for our members and our clients. And so my main goal always is tell me about your business, right? Yeah. Let me hear it. Let's figure out what I can do to help support you guys. And that's the biggest
I feel like when you have that attitude, it almost sells itself. You don't have to be a salesperson.
There's no, sales
when you care.
I always say, I'm not a used car salesman, and nothing against that, but there's a difference, right? It's about the relationship, and to the point of if you have a good relationship and the trust is there, then we're going to be able to do whatever we need to do together to be successful, right? If I trust you and you trust me, then you know that I have your best interest at heart, and that's going to build that lifelong relationship. And so that's really kind of the focus I have. I'm interested in the business and the people. And
it's interesting because when I hear both of you describe your practice, right? Your practice is construction. Your practice is relationship management and financial services. There's a resounding theme that comes through from both of you, and it's becoming a trusted advisor for your customers or members.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And that's what I hear is that you come in, you observe, you ask open-ended questions, help the customer get through a process of self-discovery, and then provide advice and guidance throughout the process. And Hope, that's pretty much what you just described.
Yeah.
So
you nailed it.
This was a really great opportunity for the two of us to come together and form a strong bond for the future. While I'd love to be here with you all day, every day, my job is also to work at Citadel. One of the things I'd like to wrap up with is I'd like to hear from each of you here a little bit about, your experience in your business, and if you were to end today with an overarching statement that you want our audience and other entrepreneurs or other business members to hear, what would you leave them with from your lips?
Going back to you for a second, I think what works is real. Yeah. And you're real and you listen. And I think that's on us too. And I think clients today are much more sophisticated. One of the challenges that came to mind is the internet, because everybody's an instant expert. And especially in our business, that's really dangerous if they don't have the context of, what's on the other end of that stud or the other end of that pipe and the advice they're given. So I think that whole concept of listening. I had a customer recently gave us a reference. They said, Don and Jason, listen between the lines. And I love that comment.
Yeah.
I love that comment. And I think there's more of that because I think people kind of, especially with all the political dynamics, I think people don't want to offend anybody, hurt anybody, or anything like that. It's hard to really get the conversations going for us that are critical to a good project. And I'll do things like, why do you like that? Let's look at that picture. Let's talk about why you like things, So that kind of prodding and listening, and, it's market focused. I mean, it's definitely it. But our projects are kind of customized, unique lot sizes of one, and we've been pulling it off. And we pull it off by listening. We're not a fit for everybody. But we're a godsend to people that want it done right, that want to have a warm confidence going forward, that they made a good investment. Our customers, what we're doing, the projects we do, it's probably one of their largest investments other than buying their home, for a lot of them that they're ever going to make. So it's got to be good. You got to nail it, especially today, with the cost of things, and you got to nail it. So,
for other field supervisors out there, people who see every nail hit every beam, who see every shingle go up, right?
Yeah.
Who make sure every door is plumb.
Yeah.
What would you leave them with?
You mess up, fix it. I just, that's kind of what you've always, kind of told me. Be the best at what you're going to do. Always try to learn. And learn more. And when you think you've got it, try to find a different way. Keep figuring it out. Care. That's the best. That's my best advice.
Now I'm afraid to give you a closing.
Yeah.
I always get concerned about this. So if you were going to close out,
Yeah.
and you were going to give, one statement to the audience.
One?
Well, just one, and a brief one.
Okay.
But just one brief.
Two challenges
audience, one brief statement.
Okay,
to the
I got it.
audience,
I got it.
all right?
I'm ready.
What would you say to everybody about relationship management and being a trusted advisor?
I would say be authentic. Be authentic. And genuine. Those would be my two things. Be authentic and genuine. I think that's how I'm successful. I truly care. I don't ever want to do the wrong thing for a client, even if it might be the right thing for my pocket. I think so. It's be authentic, be genuine, and, do the right thing for your members.
Well, everybody, thanks for joining us here today. It's been an incredible experience. It's the first time we brought a banker together with any of our business members. Donald, Jason, it's incredible to get an opportunity to know your business in greater detail. I love the father-son connection, but I love the way that you make it all about the customer and a differentiating experience. Hope you are a differentiator for us at Citadel, and it's an honor to have you aboard.
I appreciate that.
And be a trusted advisor for all of our business members. And to everybody out there, thank you for joining Citadel Credit Union's Open for Business podcast. It's been great. Stay tuned. We've got more great episodes coming your way. Hey now.